Hey, Rogue Nation, it doesn't always look like much, but it takes a lot of work to put 20 minutes together and send that out as a live video each and every week. We got to think about the guests that we're going to bring on. We got to find them. We have to discuss show topics, research. You're setting the setup even, or doing the social promotions. All for that moment where we can actually hit record and we can bring a live video to you each and every week. Now, if you've been with us for any length of time, you know that this show has gone through a lot of different formats. We've done the solo thing. We've done the news broadcaster thing. We've brought on guests. We've even brought on multiple guests so that we can have that crossfire kind of debate going on. And if we're really being honest, more than once, we've wondered, is this really all worth the effort? But it's at those times that we've actually come across an acquaintance or we run into a business colleague and they tell us about an episode that they had just seen. They tell us about something that they heard that they were able to share with their client. And they didn't necessarily raise their hands and let us know they were there. They didn't hit that like button. Although seriously, it's that little button down at the bottom with a thumbs up like that. We love the love. They didn't share it on their networks and they didn't leave a comment. But you know what? They did pay attention. And that's what all this was about. Hey, Rogue Nation, it's Chip Rosales here. I am so glad to be with you and bringing you another episode of While You Were Working. You know what? This isn't just another episode. This is actually a pretty epic episode for us. This is our 1-year show-aversary. That's right. We've been doing this for 1 whole year. And you know what? We couldn't think of a better topic than to think about video. And so if you're one of those people who knows that video is really important. It's something you should be doing, but you just don't feel very comfortable about it. You don't feel like you get any better at it. Or maybe you just are having a hard time sticking with it. Well, then this show is definitely the one that you're going to want to pay attention to. Today, we have as our very special guest, Owen Video. And so Owen is a prolific YouTuber. He is a video business consultant. And you know what? We had an opportunity, we as the Rogue team had an opportunity to meet with him probably 5 or 6 weeks ago at one of the seminars he was doing here locally in the DFW area. And we just loved it. And we knew that for the 1-year show-aversary, Owen, it had to be you. We're so glad you're here.
Hey, I'm pumped to be here. Thanks for having me. And it was exciting to be with you guys at the Dallas conference video marketing world. That conference is the idea, the very essence of it was formulated and planned by my good friend and mentor, Jeremy Vest. And it's always good to be at events he puts together. Great people are there.
Well, and you were one of our favorites. We're really glad you're here. I know you're an ambassador for the tool that we use. You do this all the time, literally all the time. I know one of the things about Rogue that's kind of special, or one of the things we kind of hang our hat on, is that we try to do things just a little bit differently. Yep. We want to stand out. And so we always like to give our guests an opportunity to kind of tell their little standout story, their thinking differently. And I know you probably have quite a few. Owen, what would you say was your moment when you said, you know what, I'm going to do something just a little bit different?
Yeah, there was 2 moments specifically that I remember. And the first was setting up my Facebook account. And this is a true story. This is coming out of Friendster. It's coming out of MySpace. You remember those networks at all?
Oh my goodness, yes.
So yeah, this was like in the very beginning of it all. I remember going from Friendster to I think it was to MySpace, and then in MySpace having some identities. Like I had a couple different pages, and I crushed MySpace. I had some great stuff going on MySpace. And then on Facebook, I remember thinking, you know what, I want to be myself. I'm going to be myself on the internet. And that was the first thing. Because at this time, internet's brand new. Keep that in mind. Everyone's brand new to it. And I had already seen sort of this Rainbow 57. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to live out loud. I'm going to be who I am, because for one, it's going to keep me accountable. I wanted my actions to be on the public record in a sense. You know what I mean? And at this time I was thinking maybe I get involved in politics as well. It's I'll just be clean out.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah. Right. So that's number one. Number two, was when I was diagnosed with thymoma cancer about 3 years ago. And I was faced with this decision to either hide that from my clients and kind of do this I never knew thing and go that way, or to really say, you know what, folks, you guys talk about being authentic. You talk about being putting yourself out there, like, boom, let's do it. Let's put cancer out there. And I took cancer to the mat, man. I took people into chemotherapy with me. I took people into the tears and behind the scenes and the late nights, like, being on the medicine, like gets you up super early. I'm up at 3 posting Instagram stories. And I saw my business double. So, learning from that, you say, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be the meest I can be in my dealings. And, I suggest the same to my clients, like put more of you into your marketing, like back away from the like, hi, it's us at the company, and get more.
We really shy away from that as business leaders and marketers. I mean, we really do shy away from that authentic. I tell you what, we might talk about this just a little bit later, but one of the reasons that we really started this show was this idea that we wanted people to get to know what it was like to work with us, right? And so then, it's funny that we did this whole newscaster kind of thing, and we were trying to be perfect and polished. But one of the things that was great about the Be Live, and what's great about just this whole live format, is the idea that I make mistakes every single, I don't even know what I said even, 3 minutes ago. I have no idea. But the thing was, if it was up to me, I would go and I would parse it out and I would look at it and I would change it and I would do all these things. But by hitting that record button, it is out there. It is authentic. Everybody gets to see the mistakes and the mistakes and all that. Missteps every single, I don't even know what I said. So, and again, there's a live moment, right? So you're hearing that reverb back there and all that good stuff, but it is what it is, and it is authentic, and it's truly what's going on. You were talking about Friendster and all the different, those old platforms back in the days when it wasn't even that old. Live video right now isn't that old either. It's just a couple years old, and still a lot of businesses aren't using it, right? They haven't figured out how to use it in the business world. Why is video, or why would you argue that video really is so powerful? And how do people kind of get to back up just a second and go, you know what, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be getting better. How do you help people think through that? Because I think that's the number one reason that people don't want to do this.
Yeah, video bends space and time. It absolutely bends space and time. With your pitch message in a video sequence, in a video series, you're able to pitch and to warm people up and to bring them closer to a sale in your sleep, right? You're sleeping safe in your bed. Somebody gets home at 2 a.m. from doing whatever he's doing, and he wants to look up what you're all about, right? He's looking up your company. He needs a chiropractor, he needs a dentist. Like, now I've got some time. I'm going to bed. I'm wired from the day. I got to get some stuff done. He finds your stuff, and now you're able to pitch him while you're not even working, right? So video bends space and time. It allows you to deliver a message at a time that's best for your customers. The other thing about video, and live video specifically, is live video is kind of like putting the kiddie bumpers up at the bowling lane, right? So, my kid, we like to go bowling. We put the kiddie bumpers up, and then, he's zooming it back and forth, and he's zinging it, and he's having all this fun with it. That's what live video is like. It puts up these parameters. So you're like, all right, I have to go live. I can't cut, right? It means I have to plan. So I have to do this plan and stay on the plan, and I can't cut. And it forces you through the content, right? When you're doing video with a camera and no audience too, by the way, and I'm talking about in your house, alone, it's not live, it's not anywhere, and there's nobody around, because you're working, and you're so you've got no feedback from anybody, and you're shooting these videos, and you keep telling yourself, I'll just edit it together, right? I'll edit it later, right? And so you're wasting all this time on what eventually is going to be bad video. You know what I mean? When you go live, you've just got to get it out there, which is why it's like a fail-safe thing. It's like playing with the kiddie bumpers up. You can't go wrong. You have a plan in place, and you go, all right, so I'm going to talk about these 7 things today. I've got 25 minutes to do it, right? You're going to do that to get more customers to your website. So let's say that you're a chiropractor, you're a service-based company, you got a service to sell. You're going to hit, and you're going to say, all right, hey, in today's video, I want to share with you how to achieve your maximum health life with the keto diet. Even better, Hey, in today's show, I'm going to show you 3 keto breakfast recipes that you're absolutely going to love. In fact, I saw a doctor do a video just like that called, he opened it up with fluff, and he's eating this whipped cream-like thing. And he's like, he opens it up with fluff, and he's eating these fluff with like berries. And he's like, oh, yeah. And it's like all over his face. He's like, oh, yeah, it's so good. You know, he's like, today I'm going to show you my wife's recipe for a fully keto fluff. And it's like, I'm Adam Nally, and he puts his thing down and he wipes his face. A great TV, if you will, right? It's great TV, right? It's great live video. And you go through your stuff. In today's video, I'm going to make this thing feel better, lose weight. Great. Hey, for more information, go to my website if you want to see more. Do that once a week and then email it to everybody in your database. For the love of Pete. For the love of Pete. I got to write that down. For the love of Pete. Do that, guys. Do that once a week for 25 minutes. Man, I say it out loud. And that's what my course does. That's what we do. We teach people how to do that because we know it's hard. We know you get nervous. You know, me and Chip, we have this great little, what we call a run of show we're looking at. Chip's different than mine. Chip's actually very professional. Mine's a little bit more simple and like cut and dry, but you know, he's got this like at this point, say this, and then move this to that, right? That's what you do. You follow a guideline, you go live, you do it regularly. And you build audience, you create authority, you close sales that way.
Well, I'd like to actually talk a little bit about some of that. I know one of the things that we really loved about just hearing you speak and what we've loved about your website, which we'll obviously link to on this particular, on the show notes and the broadcast down at the bottom. But one of the things is that you have tried to make it simple. You've got a video, you talk about your video sales funnel. You talk about why doing video is important and how it really does help you move sales. And it gives you an opportunity to talk about your sales model. And I was wondering if you would share that with people. Help us keep this simple.
Yeah. So, you know, it comes down to the video sales funnel, right? Where you should be selling with video, but not every video should be a sales video. So think about what that means. It means you have the right videos in the right place. And we have a diagram on our website, which you can check out at owen.video, where we go through this. It's called the video sales funnel. And you've got to create really 2 silos of video. You've got your content videos, right? And this is going to be your weekly regular content. You're going to do this instead of blogging, right? You're going to do this to cut down on how much social media posting you have to do, right? You know, because that can be overwhelming, posting on all these networks and all these things. It's like, well, why not build one fat network on Facebook and Instagram, right? Because the 2 are interlinked. So what you do on one, you can easily cross post on the other. So, you know, you've got your content videos. This is your educational. It's less promotional. Although you do promote, you are going to say, check out my ebook, same as a blog post would. Think about it, you're reading a blog post. It's got 3,500 words in it. So it's meaty. Like this is what your business does. And there's images there, and it says, hey, if you want to get this sent to you, right, here's my free opt-in, right? It's a lead generation tool. Your video works the same way. You have a lower third that pops up that says, you know, hey, and by the way, everything I'm going to cover, this fluff recipe, if you want to get it for your home, download it on my website. Here's the website address right here. And do that 1, 2, 3 times during your show. So you've got your content videos, but then you've got your ads. Right. This is where everyone messes up is you try to make them all one and the same. And I think that there would be some marketers out there that would argue that they can be one and the same. But it's helpful to think about them separately. So you've got your content videos, then you've got your ad videos. These are going to be sort of this is what you're using to drive traffic back to your regular videos where they can become leads. In some cases, these videos will be very specific to drive right to the opt-in page, you know, and this will go to people that already know you for retargeting. Somebody visits your website, they come back to Facebook, they see a promotional video for you. But at the end of the day, all of your videos should be working towards this end, which is getting people to opt in or to purchase a product from you. At the end of the day, the whole funnel, right? A client may come to me and say, we want to generate sales. A client, and then we're going to start with videos that make sales, right? A client may come to me and say, hey, we want to get started with video. And then what we're going to do in that case is we're going to use the video to drive traffic to generate leads, name and email, right? That's where you want to be. Once they're on your list now, you're able to email them. And this is where your content videos come in. Now you're going to be emailing them content. There's going to be a couple at first, like maybe 2 the first week, 2 the second week. But then after that, it's going to be like 1 a week. And it's going to be like regular content, just like going live. right? And we're posting, you know, the tip from your show, right? So you're doing a weekly show. It's like, hey, on this week's show, I did this. Hey, on this week's show, I did this, right? And you're engaging them. This is where you're converting them to make an appointment with you. Have you enjoyed? Hey, if you liked our fluff recipe, you're really going to like our recipe for losing belly fat. And if you want to get that, come into our office. We'll do a full belly fat analysis for you. It's all free. It's all organic. You know what I mean? The whole thing that we're going to do here. Come to our appointment page where you can set an appointment. We use companies for this. We use like automated calendar appointments, setting systems to do all this right there in the website. So we set a funnel up just like this for a client, 2 weeks ago. Within 7 days, they had their first appointment, not a lead. They had their first appointment, not just a lead. So this is what works with video. And if your video is not working, it's because you're not doing this.
Well, I like what you're saying about this too, and you're kind of getting into some of those topics of how do we actually measure success, and what are we looking for? And I know we had some conversations early on, and some of what we were talking about was this idea that so often, like I think it would be great if 5,000 people were dialed in right now listening to this particular video. That would be great. That would be amazing. I'd love that. But you know what? The 10 people that are logged in right now are probably the 10 people that are invested in our tribe. They're the ones who we want to talk to. It's an affinity. And I know you have some thoughts around that too, about how we measure and what we need to be looking for. What would you say to somebody like that who's not seeing those 5,000 lists? How can they measure this in the right way?
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's all about who you're talking to and how well you're talking to them. You know, I've often spoken with companies that have said, man, we're doing everything. We're doing what you say. We followed the steps. And I go, yeah, but you're not doing it well. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. It's like one thing to like go through the motions. It's another thing to like really commit to presenting your information, right? Presenting your information. If you get up on live video and you're like, I'm doing this because I have to, and here's the list of things that I'm supposed to do, and I see Owen, it's not working. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, of course, it's not going to work. You got to come out here and you got to like think about that thing that you fell in love with, right? You got to have that Jerry Maguire passion about what it is you're talking about, or don't talk about it. People say, what if I don't want to do video? I said, then don't do video.
Then don't do it.
Right? You know what I mean? But for God's sakes, man, stay out of the conferences. Like, don't bring your rain clouds in here. You know what I mean? If you're going to come in here, like be in here where you're ready. Like, yes, let's figure out what I need to do. Right. So you've got to put yourself into that and say, look, I'm super passionate about marketing. I'm super Desiree Martinez, right? She's out there. She's in the same group with Tim and Devontae in my Facebook group. And her whole thing is, I do marketing for boring businesses. A lot of you think your businesses are boring, but here's the thing. The person that's going to buy from you is interested in you in that moment at that time, right? So grab them with content that they're looking for. This is why video takes a while, because it's a long tail method, right? You're creating a whole library of videos. Did you get that? A library of videos so that you're able to catch, you know, the 2 or 3 really qualified searches for your thing. You know, the 10 people, right? Those people this month that are going to buy from you, they're searching on the web, and they're all searching for these weird, diverse little things and pings and pokes and pains that they have, things you're not even thinking of. You're trying to do like how to hire a chiropractor in Cincinnati, right? It's going to be more like throbbing knee pain, right? How to solve my IBS, right? My irritable belly, right? Like, I know a lot of chiropractors are into this. Then you've got to be, creating videos around those topics as well. So it's a big variety. So you've got 500 videos. Each of those is getting 10 hits a month, right? Very, very low view counts. But we're talking about, a ton of collective views. We're talking about a ton of awareness. And, you only need 3 of those 500 views to actually be meaningful. So every one of those videos needs to say, go to my website, opt into my page, follow me, so that you can keep in touch with these people. I see so much of that leaving stuff on the table. oh, we did this thing, we did that thing. Did you capture emails? Well, I wrote them down. They're on a page. They had to sign in. You know what I mean? When somebody comes into your office, instead of going into your client system, they go into an email marketing system. So you put them into GetResponse, for example, and immediately it's like, oh, thanks for registering. Boom, thanks for registering. And now they're getting an automated email sequence from you. Each one has a new video that's talking about, for example, Tim Gillette, the Blog and Video Summit, right? Tim Gillette and I hung out at Video Marketing World. He was promoting the Blog and Video Summit, which is happening in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's like, hey, put me on a list. Let me see like what's coming up. Like create that anticipation, right? Get me excited about like what's coming next. I remember that guy that told me about that thing, but what was it? Right? Instead, it's like, I remember meeting Tim at Video Marketing World about the Blog and Video Summit, which is, how many weeks away, and I'm super pumped about it. Right? It's a whole way to run your
I knew you were going to be great. I love it. I love the Jerry Maguire passion. I love everything that you're doing here. We've actually learned a whole lot from you. I think that one of that kind of leads us to the whole premise of this show. Again, for 40 episodes, and what's such a great reminder, Owen, that Rogue Nation, as you're out there are 40 episodes of content and people that we've talked to and things that we've discussed, things that matter to your business right now. And there's such a great opportunity to go look at that back catalog and do that. Owen, the whole premise of this show, it's called While You Were Working. And it's the idea that business leaders and marketers in particular, we're so busy doing the thing. We're so busy doing our job and just trying to, cross things off and do the thing that we forget to look up and see what's going on around us. And I think that you've got a lot of excitement. I understand that you had like a 4-hour broadcast earlier this week. You've got an amazing travel schedule. You do all these things. You've seen all these really cool shows. What are some of the things that people who are trying to do video, maybe even people like us, we'll put ourselves on there. What are some of those things that are coming that we should be paying attention to?
Yeah, you should be paying attention to episodic content. Right? You've got to be paying attention to episodic content. And this is going to be like the Rogue Marketing Show, right? It's going to be like this show right now. You're going to want to start looking at, really AM radio, podcasts. You're going to want to look at morning talk shows, and you're going to want to take a look at how they do things. Opening bumpers, lower thirds, on-screen text, right? 85% of video on Facebook is watched without sound. So you're going to want to use screen text, lower thirds, and some of these characteristics to create a show that leads people into the next episode, right? So it's like, hey, don't forget to join us next time. We've got, right, cliffhangers. You've got to have big guests. What's your thing, right? It's the days of, I think everyone's going to live video, and there's going to be a lot more competition, which means you've got to either be personality driven or interest driven. Create affinity with your audience by the way that by what you're talking about or the way that you're talking about it. And structuring a show, right? Structuring a show is the way to do that. And we've got a whole video series on how to make your show look more episodic. You can go to Get Started Live. They're free. It just goes right to a YouTube page. You don't even need to opt in because we will retarget you, right? So boom, right? You know what I mean?
Gotcha anyway. That's right.
That's how video works. So check that out and start making a better show so that your business can thrive in 2019.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Owen. I think you're one of our big guests. We're super excited to have you. We thought it was such a good idea that we wanted to put you on our 1-year anniversary, our 40th episode. We will put links to everything that Owen just talked about on the show notes so that you'll be able to have all of that. We're also going to be working on trying to figure out how to get some of those video graphics actually in the live platform. So that's one of those areas that I know we're going to just take that to heart right now. And so Facebook, our Rogue Nation audience, you can watch for it. It's going to happen in the next week or so. So with that, we're actually going to shut down our episode here. It's amazing how fast 20 minutes can go. I did want to say some special thanks, though, to some people here at the Rogue offices that make this happen each and every week. I want to thank Ashley Spence in particular, who's been critical in helping us get to the 1-year point on While You Were Working. I want to thank Liberty and Jared, James, Andrea, and a whole cast of others who have every week done something to make this show happen. And again, we're going to put all the show notes. The blog will be up in just a little while. And we thank you so much for tuning in over the last year. And we look forward to having you join us in the next year. So thanks again. And Owen, we really, really appreciate you. All right, Rogue Nation, make a great day.